in order to say that the colony was established, or someone sent a sending spell.
Well, they also, if you remember, there are colonies, 2 Andorran colonies on Arcadia. So there could have been a ship that stopped over from that way and brought that and then said, hey, yes, everything was okay. That hasn't been discussed. It's just the Peregrine sailors have talked about the fact that, the Liberty is not back yet. And you don't see the Liberty in harbor here. And normally that's where it'd be anchored somewhere off the shore.
If the ship sank, would it have been visible upon approach, or is it probably too deep where it would have been moored?
It would have been a little deep, but you could do some diving and see, especially those with water skills and ability to breathe water. They can go down and take a look. Now, of course, you got to get used to the depth changes, but other than that,
so Markale looks at her newly found army of women and the 2 gentlemen. And
I'm literally face bombing right now.
yes.
And she kind of is just looking, and she's like, okay, clearly you've never been governed before. Governed. We'll put that aside. I'll deal with that later. So tell me, let's do some introductions, is what we always do when we kick off a new store. So, who are you? What are your skills? You with the horns.
You with the horns. Syl, you're being interrogated while going up the beach trying to figure out what happened to the colony, which I'll move you a little closer. Syl's running.
She's not running. She's been walking just quietly just to get away from her after she started talking.
But before we leave the shore, can I just run and check out those boats real quick? I want to look in each one, see if I can see what kind of weapons may have damaged them, what state they're in.
Okay. Absolutely, you can do that. Let's see. They look like somebody stuck spears through them, tore up the bottoms. Possible cutting tools used on them, maybe from the colony. It looks like whoever was here with the colony didn't want these boats going out again for any reason.
Any blood, dismembered parts, corpses?
You don't surprisingly see any blood. Which
did it look like they were... I'm sorry.
Go ahead.
I was just going to say, did it look like they were filling the boats up with supplies or anything trying to get out of here?
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
These are canoe-style boats, which, the outrigger canoes they use to fish with, like in Hawaii and some of those areas, the Polynesian islands. That's what these boats look like. They're outriggers. They were cut from trees and hollowed out, just like outriggers. They have the one side which has the floating part of the log, just like an outrigger does, and carved out. So this took some work. Obviously, this colony has been here for a little while. These things don't get built in 6 to 8 weeks, not the palisade and everything else. You're figuring this has been here for a couple months.
Well, as Syl approaches the main area of the town itself, she'll just scout around and see what she can find,
Okay.
both in terms of her perception and survival skills.
All right. Do a survival skill check on the main thoroughfare you're going up. Because, again, you would be probably looking for any movement, footprints.
Okie dokie. Well, a number that doesn't completely suck.
Good stuff. You
Anyway.
can tell that there's been regular foot tracks, maybe from fishermen that come from here. But as of lately, there's also been a large growth in the grasses. Like the high grasses here normally would be cut back, probably kept at about just above ankle level. This is well above knee level, these grasses out here. So it has been growing for quite a while.
And the ergo not maintained for quite a while. Ergo, no one's been in this town for more than a week.
Correct. And then the two brown things that you saw that look almost like just brown circles above you to the north, those look like where the palisade would have been widened out. And not just done in a triangle. It looks like they were going to widen some of this, maybe for extra storage areas or more shops, but that this was eventually going to be expanded some more. They wanted to keep it away from the shore because, again, if storms come in, you don't want it flooding your palisade. And what it looks like, you can see the darker edge that goes from where Adeland is coming up to. That is like a rise, almost a gentle rise up and over. So it almost acts like a bulwark that if water were to come in, it would hit that and not go over and down into the colony.
Like an inland sea bank.
Yes, very much. It looks like it would have been, again, what was sand that's turned into now more lush area like you'd get in a savanna. And that hill is part of maybe even some coquina or some other type of rocks that come together when sand is compressed with shells to make like a natural bulwark. A lot of early forts in the U.S. were built with coquina because if something were to hit it, it absorbs it, but yet doesn't lose the integrity. So you could go into there and maybe have craftspeople carve out and do more coquina walls than wooden palisade walls eventually to make a permanent place to feel protected in. Now you can see where those bulwarks are, the little circle areas of the palisades. Those are also raised up. So again, you're getting a raised up area that you can look out onto the farms versus just being all at the same level. They chose this pretty well. You can tell whoever set this up was thinking on defending this thing if they had to. They just never finished the work. As you can see a gate, as you're coming towards that side, you can see a gate out towards the farms. That's a wooden gate that was built. And these palisades stand up about a good 10, 12 feet. So they pick some bigger trees, palm trees, to drive these in. And as you get away from it and look north, you can see that the palm trees go into more traditional wooden trees, like, I don't know, oaks, other type that are not necessarily tropical trees. It's just towards the shoreline that the tropical trees are able to survive better. But as you go north of there, you get into actual literal forest land, and it does rise up in the area. Like to the south, there's a large, what looks to be almost mountain-style rock structure on the south side as you curve your way around the beach and if you were to go inland more. As you go towards the north side, you see more trees, but it looks like there's almost something volcanic in nature in the center of the island, rock-wise. A large rise that you can see easily rises a good 150, 200 feet into the air, like a volcano, like you would see on the Hawaiian Islands at the center. Which surprises you because, again, this was a continent. You can tell that most likely this fractured out from the continent itself and stayed afloat. But there was cataclysmic volcanic things that happened here. That's why it's so lush now.
Right, so a lot like Hawaii.
Yeah, it is, and yet somewhat different at the same time.
Right.
As you're coming in now, is anyone else... I know you guys can explain to each other if you want. Because I know Markeo was asking what everybody's profession was. And you guys are almost gathered into a little group right there, with the exception of Adeline is kind of ahead. And again, Shara was moving ahead. So, just looking to see if anybody's commenting. Otherwise, I know Akeisha will type if she's got things going on there. It looks like Faradis is moving ahead, but he's going into the lush bush. And at times you lose him because he's only 3 foot, couple inches, and he's moving low to the lines of things. Almost following
Shara's
Syl.
got a 22 check on, I guess, survival.
Yep. Yep, a 22 on survival. So you can tell this would be perfect area for a lot of different things. Like primates might be in here somewhere. This kind of climate, if there was any pests, maybe centipedes, roaches, and the above, spiders would all be in this area, kind of area in the savannah. And you don't see any evidence of it, but you get the feeling that's the kind of creatures you'd run into out this way.
I'm going to move ahead and just kind of keep an eye on our party members who are moving forward. I don't want them to be separated where we won't see them.
Okay, so Mark Hale, what do you think? You got now 4 of the members have moved off from you. The only ones still near you are Yosef and Aurora are the only ones that are still in the area. Everybody else has kind of moved off.
I never really did get along with the women type. Oh well.
Oh well. All right, so Syl, now that you're in the problem, okay.
Markel's going to be moving towards the tents as well to see if there's anything.
All right, so go ahead and do. Yeah. You can do double move speeds with the 10 feet. So if it's 30, it's 60. I mean, and still be somewhat cautious going in. Let's see. So above you, what looked to be the buildings for Syl and Faradis to see, it looks like these buildings are probably storage buildings, maybe. Tools and larder where they would store the foods. The southern building that you're looking towards is more of what looks to be a smithy, because you can see the chimney out the back of it facing the beach, and it's a very open area you can look into. There's walls on the side you're looking down at, and there's walls towards the sea, but the rest of it looking inward to the south and to the east. Actually, well, no, that would be, God, I gotta look at how the island is. Yeah, it's to the east, because the west is where that little bridge is. So to the east and to the south is open area where they'd be doing the smithing. There's a communal fire that's ahead of you up near the well, and then there looks to be another area standing up there that maybe is where they make announcements from. Yeah, it's 8. Let's see. Just to make sure. Yeah, it's the Colony Square. So it would be where they would hold any trials. I can see you.
Yeah, my connection keeps cutting in and out, but I can see you, Shara.
I'm sorry. Is it cutting out?
Oh, it's
everybody?
okay. It'll go host connection, lost, reconnected to host, like within a second.
Yeah, I get dropped probably every
I wonder
15,
if it's
20
me.
minutes.
I may have to reboot my
Same.
router. Let me do this. Give me 2 seconds here. I'm going to reboot the router and see if that helps. So let's give it about a I'd say 3 to 5 minutes for everything to reconnect up and see how that does. Hang on.
All right, we'll be here
Okay.
waiting.
And judging.
Let's just save. Let's do this real quick.
What is that she's watching behind you?
Oops, sorry. I'm sorry. We'll do it. I bugged the wrong thing. Give me a second. I will get it back.
Unforgivable. Father made him.
I gotta redo the router because the router's having issues. Get Professor Flux back on. Here. Trust me, I will get it right back. I'm going to try to. It'll take it a second to recognize it. Trust me, give me a second. It usually resumes where we left off. Alright. Go to scenes. I'll take it right back there. There, Villain Con. This will start with Villain Con. Close enough. All right. Reboot programs.
I'm gonna get all my favorite villains to sign my magazine. Tumo! Yes, Tumo! Oh, Kevin, you for him? He ate his last henchman. Freaky fish lips. He lives in the ocean. Did he live us? Can he breathe underwater?
So,
The coolest supervillain like ever. She started out as your average little girl, braces, pigtails, but by the time she was 13, she built a criminal empire. If I was
Allows Aurora to use her wisdom bonus instead of charisma mod, which is good because her charisma mod sucks. She's not a charismatic character by any stretch of the
all
imagination.
right. So you guys
Yeah.
can hear me? Yes.
Yes.
Yeah, hey, what's up, Rick? Welcome back.
So let's do the. So I can get everything back up and running. I hate to do that, but when the router goes, that's the only choice I got. If you're having
Yeah,
a
and real
Yeah.
quick, guys,
router.
since I didn't get a chance to say it earlier, or didn't say it earlier because I kept getting disconnected,
Mm-hmm.
you would have noticed by this point that Aurora has a very faint birthmark of a rose on her cheek. Very faint, but just enough that if you get close enough, you can see it.
Yep.
So just be aware, guys, if you ever see that.
Okay.
I'm sure Syl can sense the emo from where she is.
Emo. No.
A vampire with a rose tattoo. Come on.
There's no emo.
Yeah, it does sound a little emo.
There's no emo involved in this.
There's
character
no
whatsoever.
emo. No,
I'm just
actually,
waiting for me to turn into a seal so we can make some sort of a kiss from the rose reference.
Yeah, actually, Yosef would probably be more emo if you were to look at it. Dressed in the high boots, the kind of the leather outcoat, as well as the leather armor. Yeah.
Could always play a prank on Aurora and just buy her like one of those frilly, flowing shirts. just like that one Family Guy episode where they were making fun of Lestat.
Yeah, you probably don't want to go there with Aurora. That is probably the negative direction to go with Aurora.
Bad.
Oh.
If it makes you feel any better, Aurora, I still don't know who you are, and I also still don't care.
Damian Wood is like a prank Damian Wood is a prank just to push her buttons. Still, on the other hand, is violently apathetic.
Yeah. Violently apathetic. I love it.
I mean, I'll say this for you guys. You do get the sense that Aurora is not your average Dhampir. I mean, she gives the vibe that there is something very different, very off compared to what you would have expected from a standard, with any Dhampir you've ever run into. She doesn't give that same vibe. Like she doesn't have that emo vibe, guys. I promise you.
Well, you're probably the first.
Any better? You're probably I was gonna say you're probably the first Dhampir Markel's ever seen.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me either. But I figured I'd give you guys a heads up.
Sure.
You never know what you come up against. All right, you should be able to hopefully now see things coming up. I would hope.
I am reconnecting once again on FG.
Yeah.
It's not letting me join in. What's the password? I've got Gordon number 1310 and
yeah,
it's
Gordo.
Gordo, no end.
Oh, Gordo.
Gordo, pound 1310. I've had to type it in
go.
enough times this morning that I've memorized it now.
Well, someday you'll figure if anybody's
Spanish,
from Texas. Right? Well, if anybody's from the Texas area, they've already figured out what it is.
Yeah, Gordo's fat, guys. It means fat.
Yeah.
Gordo.
It's also a sports station for sports radio down in the Dallas area where he is the comedian of the show.
Oh.
And 1310 is 1310 the ticket. Sports radio.
Okay.
See, there is a reason behind all my madness. Not much reason, but
Method
there's
to
a little
your
bit.
madness.
Yeah.
Well, it's sports related, so that one completely sailed by me.
Yeah, I'm just thinking about the IT crowd. Look, the ball's over there. Now it's over there now. And
Yay,
we're cheering
sports
for
ball.
some reason.
Oh, it's more fun. Alright, let's see.
I'm like, yay, you made the points with the sports ball.
Did you check out that ludicrous display?
You know. Alright. Let's see.
Yeah.
So you guys are heading
They went-
into the village. So we had Syl. So everybody so far connected, or are we connecting up still?
I'm in. I just
I think you
uploaded
got everybody.
Yeah, it looks
Yeah,
like
I'm just trying to
everybody's
upload
on.
the map.
Good. Let's see how this one does. Let me know if it keeps running or not. If it does, great. If it doesn't,
Okay.
then, yeah, you know. What are you going to do? All right, so what you can see is, again, Syl is making her way into the center. The center area, let's see. Let's bring this up so everybody can see it again. Because otherwise everybody will just kind of hear what I'm talking about. All right, inside the palisade, you have the center, and the center, of course, being the well. Makes sense for any village. The well is the center. Mm-hmm. Next to it is a giant communal fire pit where you would cook things, cook meat, cure meat. The two buildings up north, heading north, which top of the screen being north, are larger buildings, possibly with tool buildings. The southern one looks to be a smithy, which is diagonal to the tent village. And the center there is what looks to be a wooden type of upper billet where somebody could step up there on the ladder and the steps and go to the top of it and make announcements to the village itself. So that's that wooden thing just a little bit south of the well. The big communal, probably where they do the laws and argue and judge things, is the building directly east, the big building. It's a 2-story building. Right to the south of it looks to be the governor's building. The 2 northern, really long buildings look to be where the barracks would be. And the other building to the south with a weird wooden colored top is, I gotta remember that one, which one it is. Sorry if you hear Minions in the background. Munchkie is watching Minions. Alright, so that one is the church. That's the church building. It's a large chapel.
Which one? The red one?
The reddish colored one, yes. It looks like a chapel. Alright, so Yosef is going to be...
And what is the one right next to the chapel? I'm sorry, the one directly east of it?
The one just east to it, right here, is what looks to be... hang on here.
Is that where the governor is? Or is...
The governor's up a little bit more, just on the other side of the double doors.
Okay.
That building there is... The next one over from the chapel. Where are you? Looks like a large home. Just a very large home. Maybe somebody of wealth or power was there. Let's see, where's he going to move? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 1, 2, 6. So just kind of trailing you there. All right, so Shara, I noticed you got to the tent village. All right. So the tents themselves, we'll start there, and then work our way back up to Syl and everybody else. The tent village, again, the 2 ones that you and Aurora are closest to are collapsed. They can be put back up again. There's no harm to them. It just looks like the rain and the winds took them down. They're all leather style ones to try to keep the weather out, with poles in the center, bamboo style poles. And it looks like they're normally, very salvageable, but one of them that is where Shara's nearest has the smell of kind of a musky smell. There's nothing under there. What it looks to be is a bunch of common mundane items like clothes, mementos and pictures from people back home, maybe family members. There's some cooking pots, water skins, and some day-to-day like needle and thread tools and repair tools themselves. Most of them look like they are just where the common people would stay with their families. And right now that there are not any children on this expedition, it is mostly teenage and above, if there are children. And most of it is either new young families or older families with older kids. The building that you are nearest to, Miss Markale, is standing up, and you notice that there is a small chest here without a lock on it inside that particular tent.
So she just quickly cast detect magic on it.
Oh yeah, the box lights up with 2 sets of magic. It lights up with divination and let's me see on this one. I use my new books today, which are my compact books. I got teeny books, the little pocket versions. So,
oh, nice.
Yeah, it makes it easier for carting it around the house. I like them when it's a little easier to get them around. Otherwise, it just is a pain to get everything out and clean it up. Where is it? What page is it on? It says it's in there. But there is another set of magic. I just got to get to what it is. Okay, that's right. I didn't see that. Okay. So let's look under there. Okay, 222. This one lights up with There it is. It has faint transmutation magic on it as well. And it takes a little bit for this to light up, a round or two, while you're searching those. Aurora, are you going to keep moving on while Shara and Markale search the tents?
Yeah, I'm moving towards the church, actually, or the building that has been dubbed the church.
All right.
So of these tents, how many are standing up?
5 of them are. The one that is closest to the palisade below the top one, there is one that is Markale's by. That's the one that is standing up. Then the other one towards the shoreline next to you is standing up. And then the 2 below you are standing up.
And inside, it looks like people left in a hurry?
Yeah, it looks like a lot of well, not necessarily in a hurry. It's just their clothing is left as if they weren't trying to pack it up or anything. You find that kind of odd.
Does it look like...
So, struggles, you don't see necessarily struggles, Chara, but you do see foot traffic, and it's old foot traffic. And with the mustiness and the smells and some of the ways that the grasses are starting to grow around this, again, you predict probably 2 to 3 weeks ago since somebody's used one of these. So it has been at least 2 to 3 weeks. It is. I mean, you would think if somebody came in here monster-wise, there would have been huge signs of struggle, and you'd notice. You'd see blood, which you see none, on the ground. So it's almost like they've been abandoned. Is the best way to put it. Now, do you have any ways of identifying the items that you found, Markale?
I do not.
Okay.
So she is going to... How big is the chest?
The chest itself is probably about a 3 by 3 high by 2 deep chest. It just has other clothes in there. This one item, as you open it, you see 3 bottles that are enclosed in a wrapped type of leather wrapping. And they're all the same color. They're a light blue color. The shirt that you see in there, you see a beautiful, it looks to be a gossamer thin, beautiful embroidered shirt with winged feet on the lapels, which strikes you as something unique because none of the other clothing has it that's in there, the other shirts. It is a female shirt.
Leyoink?
It would probably fit, I mean, a woman that is, I would say, normally about 130 pound range. So depending on your size, probably a stature of 5'5", 5'6".
She taps her bottom lip. This is quite the find. This is quite the find. She takes clothes from inside the tent, and she tries to make it look like it's just a pile of trash so that no one steals the chest. Is the chest magic, or is this just a shirt?
Just the shirt and the bottles. You could easily put them within your backpack, and no one would know the better.
Yeah, she'll take all of those things. She won't bother hiding the chest unless it looks like it's well made.
No, it's not. It looks like a simple made one. But these 2 items just stand out. Maybe somebody was left them or took them as an encase.
Right.
Shara, you find some more bolts that are in the area with a simple crossbow, a light crossbow that's in that building itself. All right, Syl, you are to that building. Let me see. I'm going to put a card in there to mark this page. And Syl is to the building there. And that is the big building.
Yep.
All right. So this building itself, excuse me, it is, excuse me, this wooden frame, mud and brick structure is currently the colony's only two-story building, as well as the largest of the structures. It has the appearance of a rural courthouse or a city hall rather than that of a residence. The front features a small porch supported by some rough log pillars and double doors facing west, the way you just came up to it. Numerous window frames with shutters, some of them open, wrap around the building on both floors. The roof is non-thatched but has wooden shakes instead of the normal type of brick or almost the adobe style where you see the round tiles to keep things off the roof, water off the roof. The construction suggests this building was intended to be a source of community pride, but it still has a rough, unfinished appearance due to the lack of paint and coarse materials. A few small shrubs have been planted around it. So this is definitely what would be the governor's home and office for people to come into. The doors do not have a lock. They are slightly ajar, and they do look like the style that instead of having a lock may have something to bar it from the other side. Let's see, the building. So that's that one. Now the building that, let's see, Adlant has arrived at. I'll tell you a little bit about that one. That is the, let's see, 7 large home. This long rectangular building appears to be a home, though larger than many beyond the palisade to the south. It has windows, all covered with wooden shutters, and a single door facing northwest, which is where you're at right now. The door is open, ajar, and what you can see in it looks like this has been disarray. A room in disarray. It looks like it has been rummaged, things have been knocked over, tables have been knocked over, cupboards opened, and just a lot of broken bottles and glass on the floor. Like somebody rummaged this place over.
Okay, I want to go on in and do a thorough search of the house, see if I can see any signs of anything or anyone,
Okay.
or ideas of what may have happened.
Alright, so do me this. For kicks and giggles, and not that we're having initiative, but so I can go around since everybody's searching different places. Let's roll an initiative. That way I can go around in that order and answer any questions and keep things flowing in that way.
Okie dokie.
Alright, where are those two here? Let's do these. For these guys. Alright, Faldus. Initiative there. That's lovely for Faldus. And then Yosef. The exact opposites. Faldus does horrible, Yosef does amazing. Okay.
Did my initiative not show up?
Yeah, mine didn't show up either.
Yeah, mine doesn't appear to be showing up either.
Well, it shows here. Let's see. Faldus has a 4, Aurora has a 5, Syl has a 6, Shara 13, Markael 17, Yosef 22, and Adeline 22. Does that sound about right for the rolls?
Yeah.
Okay.
It looked like I rolled a 10 on mine. I should have had like a 14 or something.
Okay, we'll re-roll it.
Unless
Click on it and see what happens. Click on your initiative again. Because that's what I normally do, is click on the initiative.
Because 6 is what I got last time on the last initiative.
All right. So anybody that didn't get what was right, go ahead and just re-roll if you can. That's until your dex heals. Once you've had somebody do a heal thing on it,
Still didn't
either
see
a
it.
heal ability or a check along those lines, you should be able to...
Oh, that's why I got booted off.
Okay.
Yeah, it looks like a few people have.
Minimize this
Yeah.
real quick. Alright, so I'm going to minimize the big screen. Yours will probably show. I'm minimizing mine, so unless you move, let me know. I'm trying to keep an eye on how everything goes. If you want, reconnect, I will reconnect all of you to the map, so you have that, and I can minimize it. Alright, so Adeline, you're going to do a check into the room itself. Do you want to do like a perception check on the whole area so that way you can see if there's anything worth spotting?
I think I rolled pretty good on that one.
Yep. Oh, yeah. Yeah. So basically when you're in there, there's a lot of simple wooden furniture that's disarray in the residence. The chairs and tables, of course, knocked to the side. Nothing is woefully broken, though, other than a couple bottles. There are some articles of clothing, household items that are scattered across the floor as if something was examining them and then discarded them.
Do I see any books or journals or papers, anything like that?
That's a very good question. You do see, let's see, a gold wedding band left sitting on the windowsill. On the inside of it in Taldane Common is inscribed, "My dearest Livy." Otherwise, there is no other clues to who lived here. So you're guessing maybe Livy was a woman here, and it was left here to basically as if it was maybe discarded by the person who had it. It's kind of, you find it funny. Okay, so your initiative roll, 10 didn't. Okay, Sil, you're 9. Okay, so 10 for Shara.
I rolled 3 initiatives and went from a 10. I rolled a 10, then a 7, and now a 5.
Yeah, you're just having fun. If you get a 10, so what was your original one with your initiative added to it?
I should have changed my patron deity to the gods of RNG.
Well, if you had originally a 10, and did you have what, a +3 or +4 for initiative?
I just had my dex mod at +4.
Okay, so that'd be 14. Shara, what was your original roll plus your dex modifier? You had a 10 plus what was your dex? Check here. Let's see. 13. So yours is fine. Yours is at a 13 right now. So you had an 8 and +2 for your undamaged dex. Okay, so I'll put it as a 10. All right. You do find that there are some circles on the floor where no dust has accumulated. They look the size of maybe a keg or a barrel size. And there's a small metal chest that you find shoved under the far bed and against the wall. It is locked, so you would need to be able to disable a lock to get it open.
I don't know. I might be able to do that. I can't remember exactly what all my skills are.
Disabled device will get you there. Normally lock picks help, but you could try to use a dagger to pick it if you're careful. If you fail,
-2 penalty to use improvised tools.
Yeah, exactly. It's going to be a -2 on the roll. What would be great is if you had somebody who has thieves' tools and can do the picking, which possible. The way you saw Faradis moving through the brush, you figure he's either a scout type or he is a rogue type because he moved.
How big is this chest? You said it was small. Is it big enough that I can carry it?
Oh, absolutely.
If anyone's watching Syl, they might witness her tampering with a lock.
Okay, I'm gonna pull out the chest and bring it with me.
From what you could tell in this room, this looks like maybe is the home of the let's see, who is it here? It looks like maybe the home of the priest, because it's next to the chapel, and it looks like with the stuff in here what maybe a priest would own in goods.
Okay.
Except the gold ring, which you find is interesting that he set it there instead of wearing it on his finger.
Okay,
So-
I'm going to take the ring and I'm going to take the chests. And if I can't find any books or papers or anything, I'm going to leave the building and let you go on to somebody else.
Okay. So Shara, to answer your question, yes. Once you get to the initiative, you would probably be the outer palisades by now, while other people are searching the buildings. So right about here, at the outer palisade. So that's where you would be most likely. You're not quite in the building yet. Oh gosh, has everybody lost connection again?
No, I'm
Pretty
still
sure I
here.
have.
So
I
see
appear to
Laura,
still be
Sean,
here.
and Josh all lost the thing, but waiting to reconnect.
Well, yeah, you had mentioned you were moving Shara's token, and I noticed that the token did not move at that point, so I was like, oh, I'm probably losing connection.
Yeah, if it does. I mean, unfortunately, we normally have good connection, but with the weather up here being what it's been, sometimes we have issues.
Well,
yeah.
it's a strange feeling for me not to have the issues on my end this
All right?
time.
It's on my end, which is usually the one that's during a sunny day. It's like, yeah, wait till winter comes. I want to see what happens because part of my cable is not buried; it goes in underneath because we're in a brand new trailer end of things with the prefabricated houses, so everything goes underneath. Watch the speeds when winter comes. I bet my speeds go down to nothing. Alright, so now we are to Yosef and Markale. So Yosef is kind of following Aurora, so he will move down to her 5 at this point, since he's trailing her in. So let's go to Markale. Markale, you are at which building?
Still by the tents.
Yep, you're still by the tents. So do you want to move on or continue to go through the tents?
I would have been going through the tents. Did I find anything before when I went through them? Because if there was nothing else
You
but that,
find probably about 25 gold pieces and loose coin that's in these different buildings. And
Yeah.
a minor set of earrings that are probably worth 25 gold. I'm actually
Yeah.
here.
so
That's-
so if that's all she found, like she's really was just assessing like the architecture and structure, and also maybe looking for survivors. She actually would go south.
Okay. Should you go south this way?
Yeah, so she would be leisurely walking along. Like, is that a road? Like,
yeah,
it looks
that's
kind
a
of like
that's a
where-
road down there. Let me see. Pull this down a little bit.
So she would actually have been following like the white road,
Yeah, get rid of this, 'cause
just
this ain't
leisurely, like a tourist.
here. Yeah, this is a road here. It goes to some fields down here and some what looks to be other buildings and maybe farmers or people that are cattle herders. Again, some of the tents you get the feeling were there temporarily in the beginning until more houses were built. You have a feeling
Okay.
the ones down there were the ones built and that people are already in. So, kind of a mix of bag here. The people in the tents most likely were waiting for houses to be built or trying to build their own.
Okay.
They're just more of a temporary structure.
She kind of wants to take a look at the crops
Okay,
and things like that.
that works perfect. All right, let me then. I'm going to do a reduction just to see who's next. Syl, you are next with your. Are you going to go inside the governor's building?
Yes.
Okay. All right.
So, you said the front door was barred and not locked, right?
Yes.
So she'll have to she'll have to attempt an alternate entrance in.
Well, it's not barred closed. It's just it could be. The doors are ajar. No one's locked there. This one. That's what hits you as most interesting. If there was a battle here, these doors would be barred, without a shadow of doubt, and windows would be shattered. None of that is the case. It looks like
'Cause
somebody
I'm
opened the doors enough to walk out the front door, and now is gone.
Yeah, I'm thinking I'm thinking like some kind of X-Files situation where it's like everyone just kind of leaves all at the same time in a zombie-like state.
Yep.
It's
something
Roanoke.
Yeah, exactly.
Well-
Roanoke, like the movie Roanoke, where they settled it and now all of a sudden it's gone. Everybody's gone.
Well,
Imagine
yeah.
me with crazy hair and a meme going, aliens.
yeah, the myth around Roanoke, yeah, but the reality of that is that they likely just resettled with nearby Native Americans, which, suddenly had an explosive population of like half white kids.
Yeah. No, that wouldn't happen. All right, so through the main doors as you peer in, it looks like a large chamber that occupies most of the first floor. That in this main chamber there is against the east wall, a raised desk like a podium, and chairs are arranged in that foyer like a courtroom, or maybe a communal room where they discussed major things that go on in the village itself. And there is a stairwell to the south that leads up to the second floor.
Okay, she will go up the stairs.
All right.
She's mostly going to look around for any thing as to what they might have written down or something indicating as to why they left.
All right. Do me a perception check.
Ooh, can do.
This is easy.
Ooh, he does pretty good.
And I'm glad you got that reference.
All right. So yours is a 24. All right, let's see. I'm gonna check something here. See what you spot. Upstairs is more of a, let's see. Here. There you go. All right. So, you can see as you go up that there is an area with a desk, a bed, and a row of books and a coffer that it sits on top of the desk. Now, you see something, because again, this isn't all enclosed. This second level looks out down onto the chairs. You see a gleam, just the faintest of gleams from this area. Near the, as you go up, of course, there's the railing where you came up that goes around, and then the desk and the bed are all against the east and the north wall, as is the desk and the what looks to be a small bookshelf. And let's see what we got here. Let's see if we can show you this. You see this on the perch, almost at an imperceptible thing behind you, looking over the room. But that one big red eyeball is looking at you.
Oh, that's not creepy.
It almost looks like a spider, but it doesn't quite. I'll allow it. You were dangerously close to getting canceled, Rick.
Yeah, dangerously. It has gears to it. It has a gear on top, it looks like. And if you had an ability to understand this as a profession or a skill, you probably know exactly what it is.
Well, Syl knows exactly what it will be.
Yeah, you know what it... Yeah, exactly. You know what it is. So what are you going to do?
She will approach it, and she'll just close the distance in on it and see how it reacts.
It's starting to scurry backwards on the railing, like it wants to get out of there.
Well, she'll try to grab it.
All right, so make for me a grapple check on this bad boy. to grapple.
Yeah, sleight of
this thing.
hand?
Nope.
Would that work?
Yeah, sleight of hands might, but a grapple check would most likely be the thing that works here. And it's check for CMD is 12, so you have to roll a 13 or better to grapple it.
Okay, well, she has to make a touch attack first.
Yep.
Which is...
You got it. It's
that.
13.
Okay.
You grab the top of it, and its little things are trying to...
Unfortunately, her combat maneuver bonus it slipped right out of her hands as soon as she caught it.
Yep, you caught it, and it's scurrying, and it is going to... Let's see. Can it do that? It basically tries to hit you with one of its little claw things. Yeah, like this is going to do real well. All right. So let's roll this and add to it a +2. Nope, it tries to get you with one of its little legs as it's trying to right itself on the floor and scurry backwards. It wants away from you.
Mm-hmm.
So, what's your next move? Because the rest of you guys don't hear necessarily the scuffle as you're doing your searches. So I'm going to play this out and kind of complete it and then go to the next person. Unless there's a major scuffle that involves multiple monsters, and then I'll bring all of you into play. This is not necessarily a major monster.
Alright, well, she will attempt to grab it again.
All right.
For DC 10.
Yeah, it's like a spitting, hissing kitten. That is, I tell you, Akeisha, that's about as good as it gets. It's going clack, 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 clack. Leave me alone. Leave me alone. You don't see me. Leave me alone. Just run away.
Nothing to see here.
Yes. Moving on. Nothing to see.
Yeah, that actually describes her personality pretty well, is that she is a lot like a big cat.
And now I suddenly understand the phrase aggressively apathetic.
Mm.
Yes.
Yep. So anyway, yeah, she'll try to grab it again.
All right.
If she fails this time, she's just going to out and out attack it.
Aliens meet me up on Discord. That's funny. Whee.
So.
Whoa!
Touch.
You got it that time. Yes. Island aliens.
Followed by grapple check.
Oh, you got it. All right. It is trying to get away. Now, you can attempt a disabled device to get it to stop moving if you want it to. But it's going to try to break your hold first to do that.
Mm-hmm.
If it can break your hold, then it's golden.
Okay, her combat maneuver defense is 20.
Nope. It's like clacking. It's trying to stick its claws in you, but you've got it in such a grip that the claws can't even get to you.
It's like trying to pick up a crayfish.
You do it. You play around with that top thing, and you hear it go, bing! And it goes, no, and the light goes out in the eye. You believe that if you have somebody with clockwork, you could probably fix this and figure it out.
Okay, well, she'll grab the part that twinged off and take it out.
Nice job. Now, you can try to do a general knowledge check. A knowledge arcana would tell you, a successful knowledge arcana would tell you what it is.
Well, she since she doesn't have any ranks in the skill, it's a trained skill, so she can't hit above a DC 10, no matter what her roll is.
Well, but if you roll a natural 20, natural 20 heals everything.
Nope.
All right. So just a fun toy to take back with you. Now, there are some other journals here that you could look into if you wanted to.
Actually, she does, yes.
All right. So you see that there's a colony logbook that is here. Give me a perception check. Just what I call passive perception, where it's just a perception roll for passive. Yeah. You kind of look through, and it keeps a journal to what was going on, what was established, what was done in the colony as you're thumbing through. And then you notice that the last 4 pages are missing. They have been cut out of the logbook. Very carefully. Almost like precision cut out of the book itself.
All right. I'll grab the book then, too.
All right. So now we move to Shara. I love this little thing. All right. So Shara, what we doing? Shara Moon Dancer. You're at the kind of the... Now, you can either go on the Palisade corner or you can redirect it and follow Markale if you want to. And going along the L-shaped building that she is near. Okay. All right. So you're going to go over there. That looks like a smithy. And you can see inside that it is, in fact, the smithy for the town. All right. Hang on here. Yeah. All right. I'm not worried about dropping that. All right. So the smithy itself, it's an L-shaped building that's constructed of mud bricks and a wooden frame. The western portion is a structure that is enclosed by 4 walls. But actually the real enclosure is the L itself. That little crevice in between the L, that little L-shaped section itself is actually open to the open air. And it has a canvas type of covering so that way it keeps any saltwater spray out. But a high winds would blow it open unless those are secured down, which they aren't. A 10-foot extension connects it on the east side. The extension is only on the northern wall and is just a roof shelter below the space so that you can work in the open outside to show your work. So the top of the L there, you'll see a little bit of an extension, Akeisha, on it that's going towards that wooden frame thing where people would stand up on and deliver messages to the village. That little section, you can just make it out a little bit, is the open air part where you'd work. And we lost about everybody. Okay, so anything, look out, whoever. Yeah, it looks like there's some tracks that say someone just walked away from this building. But, and make for me another survival check for me if you can. Nicely done. Well done. That forge hasn't been lit for at least 2 weeks. And you can tell. Because the charcoaling on the outside is cool, it's sooty, and it has not definitely been lit. Make for me a perception check. It seems like some things over the smithy have been kind of knocked around overhead. It's dark towards the ceiling, so unless you lit a light... Actually, though, you have dark vision, don't you? You are a half-orc. You have dark vision. You see 2 little forms that are in the top, hanging by their prehensile tails from the ceiling. Now, let's see. Hang on here. All right, shrink that down. Yeah, ooh. All right, so let's see. Alrighty. There they are. This is what the little shapes look like. All right, can you see it? They are the weirdest thing you have ever seen in your life. One is female, one is male. They look like a goblin mated with some sort of a primate.
I almost want to cancel this.
Oh, you just have more fun and Adrestia with everything that gets thrown at you.
You know, things are getting weird.
They are about as tall as your gnome that's outside Faradis that's playing around in the bushes. No, that actually is at a building now, but yeah, the larger building. But yeah, about that tall. And that ugly. And they start shrieking at you in some weird language. Yeah, 2.5 is about right on the height of them. They start shrieking at you. And you guys roll perception checks for those of you that are outdoors. Not like Syl, who's indoors in a building and currently, or like Adeland, who's also in a building. But anybody else can hear this. All right, 10. Aurora, you think you hear maybe some noise coming from the smithy? Now, you did see that Shara was heading there, but it's kind of an odd, awkward noise of sorts, like a shrieking. Maybe either she's shrieking or something is shrieking. Let's see. Got to do my boy here, my NPC. Let's see. Faradis will have to do his perception. All right. And let's see, is he... Yeah, he kind of hears the same thing. And let's see if Yosef does. Come on, Yosef. All right, Yosef. All right, where is he? There he is. Let's see, his perception is an 18. So, all three of you hear noise, and in fact, Yosef says, that doesn't sound right. That sounds like shrieking coming out of the smithy. That's not a good thing. Alright, let's see if I can shrink this down maybe a little bit in order for us to kind of do the battle, and that way I can leave all the screens up. Alright.
Would this be a good stopping point? I gotta...
Oh, do you need to? Yes, it's about 3. It would be a good stopping point. Yay! I am sorry. We've been having so much fun.
Hey, no problem. Yeah, it's been good. I got a housewarming party that I gotta get to about
Awesome.
45 minutes up the road.
Okay, so 2 weeks puts us the week of not the 30th and the 1st, but I think the week of the 8th.
Okay.
Good for,
Look at the 8th.
good for
The 8th
everybody?
is 2 weeks from now.
Experience-wise, add to each of you 200 XP. Now, we're going slow path, so just keep in mind that 200 XP, where it may level you here, the slow path takes a little bit longer. Just because this is an exploratory, fun campaign, and I don't want you guys racing up too fast for it, because there's a lot to do. Alright, and I'll leave the combat tracker there with any damage. And then if you have any questions, like I'll figure out on Sean on Aurora how to get those spells on her. Because for some reason, I guess we're not seeing spells come up on the Inquisitor, Josh. So I don't know if you have any clues to how you add the spells in here. I haven't looked other than just...
With Damien, I never bothered to actually figure this thing out, so I haven't the foggiest idea. What I did for spells is that I just like copy pasted them onto my TXT file, and I just control search for them.
Yep. Yeah, my thing here, the only thing that I've seen is if you import them as the HLF file from Fantasy Grounds, they'll bring them in automatically. But other than that, I don't know. Like when I did Adrestia's, they imported in beautifully, no issues, every bit of Adrestia. So again, I'm not advocating you guys have to go buy Hero Lab. Sorry, Hero Lab, but Hero Lab does make it easy, especially if you level up and you want to import it and update things. That lets you do that really easy. So I know Hero Lab will love me and want everybody to pay the money, but it's like
If only you could get a sponsorship.
oh god, well you could if you tested it. You can approach them. I know the gal who's one of the main gals there. If you want her information, That's BJ.
Oh, wow, that's
BJ
awesome.
That's BJ Hensley. Miss Hensley is a major part of that group. So she's part of
awesome.
Wolf Slayer. And she's super. She's a good soul, and if you gave her the right reasons, she might.
All right, I'm going to head up the road.
All
It's
right.
been great. Remember,
Yeah, it's been
resumes.
fun.
Send me all of your resumes. You start out at below minimum wage. Just to let you know. You can work your way up.
Hey, that's a raise for me.
Yeah.
All right, see you guys.
We'll see you soon. All right.
Later.
I
All right, so I'm going to put that on there. 200 XP, slow advance, and I think that's it. You guys know what you got, so if you got any questions, you can write those things down. And of course, there won't be any resting in between because we'll be picking up with Akeisha and the Weird Monkeys. It's a weird monkey moment. So I was kind of laughing because they are weird-looking monkeys.
They certainly are.
So I hope everybody liked it so far, and especially with Laura and Sean. I hope you guys enjoyed.
Oh
joining
yeah,
me.
I've had a good time. Thank you for inviting us.
Good.
Yeah, for sure. It was good.
And anything you guys see or anything you want, done maybe more creatively or fun or different, just let me know. That's one of those things that Josh and Akeisha, and if Adrestia was here, would tell you. I'm pretty open to amending how I GM, or if I'm missing something to make it more fun, just let me know.
But the only correction I have for you is that on the picture that you put of my little half-elf guy, you put that he's my servant, and it's the other way around. I'm his servant.
Oh, okay. I will. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to work him up and send something over to you on Fantasy Grounds, but I'll put it in a PDF format. And that way then... so you guys are from Andoran, correct? Original citizens.
I wasn't sure. I'm totally new to the whole Pathfinder world.
Okay.
And I was going to read up on the Inner Sea region this morning because I haven't had time and I got called into work. But someplace where slavery was legal. That's all I really know. A coastal town where slavery is legal.
Well, it's actually funny because Andoran is like the United States, but it didn't have slavery. It started as a republic. So it is a true republic without slavery. They had it before when it was settled by Taldor, but that's what they broke away from. That and the Chelish Empire. They wanted nothing to do with slavery. They freed all the slaves. In fact, the leader of the current council is an ex-slave, a former Garandy slave, who led the revolts and is all about this is a free country. So it's an interesting, in a medieval setting, it is a interesting setting to come from. And it's egalitarian. It's a very egalitarian society. You can get, if you go out onto and get the PDF of it, it's like $9 for Andoran itself. And it'll tell you everything you want to know about that country as well as its neighbors and how they relate with each other. The relations. It's just a great read. It's a nice little read.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
Okay, sounds good. Any other questions from anybody?
Nope.
Awesome. Nope. Thank you, folks. I enjoyed it. I enjoy having you both in the group, and it's been a lot of fun. I look forward to this group having a lot of fun campaigns. So, and again, Akeisha, Josh, you guys are awesome as always. I'm glad you guys are getting into it. So I like how Syl's kind of, getting herself all laid out. And Shara's interesting, too, with all of her hunting skills, which are coming way handy.
Yeah, it'll be interesting working her out in the future.
It will.
Well, she is completely the opposite of Damien in terms of her ability to relate to people. I mean, she has a 5 charisma.
Yeah.
So I've been keeping her quiet quite intentionally, just because she's just not interested in talking to people, and that's just the way she is.
That's an awesome departure. It's almost like you and Adrestia just switch places, is the best way I can put it.
Yeah. Maybe she can... should convince her to just change her character's last name to Azrael.
You probably could. She'd probably get a kick out of it too. A distant relations to Damien.
Or any number of his illegitimate children.
Oh Lord, well it would work. I mean, it's right next door in Caldor, so it would actually kind of work out. That would be, yeah, I know, right? That'd be one of those. One of these days, Sean and Laura, you guys will have to get to know about Damien. He's a character. He definitely is a male version of Adrestia's character, but all about making his mark in life by rising the ladder by all the pretty people he gets to know. And Muledge the Killer Bunny. Yeah. Think about Vorpal Bunny, and that's Muledge, Adrestia's familiar in the other game. He is the Vorpal Bunny. All right, y'all. I've kept you long enough. Be good. We'll talk to you. If you got any questions, just hit me up, and otherwise, I'll talk to you guys in 2 weeks.
Sure.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody. Bye.
Take care.